Think about the difference between a human and a lion. A lion cannot make a video about their decisions and think about the consequences of the decisions in the same way humans can. The human animal has a special ability, the cognition. And this cognition gives us a specific responsibility. For example, you have a mobile device in your hand, watching via video, via the internet, a talk, a text that is about moral consideration, ethical consideration. Lions don't do this. Then you can go into the supermarket and make a choice. And that choice is either rejecting animal exploitation or not rejecting animal exploitation. This is binary. One excludes the other. You can accidentally buy products that are not based on animal exploitation. That doesn't mean that you reject animal exploitation. And you can also reject animal exploitation and buy, for example, fruit. Secretly, there is animal exploitation involved, even though you reject it. Hidden, that you cannot research it as part of the production process. The first case is the person rejecting animal exploitation. That person will talk about this, that we change the norm. And the second person not rejecting animal exploitation can accidentally do the right thing, but there is no conviction behind it. So any other day that person might do the wrong again with a false sense of self-certainty. Humans, we are different than lions. A lion does not have this power, and so they do not have the same responsibility. Thereby, we humans have certain things where we see this is a wrong action and this is a right action. This discernment automatically creates for us that there is objectively a knowing this is a wrong action and that is a right action, because we have the power of discernment. So if you sign a contract, you can think about the consequences. A lion cannot do this. A baby cannot sign a contract. But a human who is adult can sign a contract, and we call that knowing, or that capability to know, moral agency. So for example, we say to a very, very small child, don't do this, this is so wrong. But the small child is not as responsible as the adult, which is expressed in laws in that way that, for example, when you're adult, you should not do certain things with children, rightfully so. Yet children lack the full capability to know the consequences of their actions. So we have the unique mental capability to see a limit, and we can reason why not to cross it. This gives us a specific duty, and that's deontic ethics basically. Some lines we should not cross. For example, we should not do certain things to children whatsoever. We have the capability to recognize that other beings are conscious individuals and not inanimate objects. Both is an objective truth. Our power of discernment, that you listen to this talk and think about right and wrong, this is a truth. And the fact that other conscious beings, sentient individuals, are not inanimate objects. You recognize they experience a whole world for themselves. The same way you see and your eyes generate the visual side, the whole of everything you experience is in every sentient individual. With their senses, they experience a sensual experience. They have mental activities. They decide, but we do it in a different degree. The same way we say, for example, like children do not have the same moral responsibility that an adult has. This isn't a matter of being nice or make opinions. This is a matter of admitting that there are certain facts. There is a factual boundary we should not cross. Both is an objective truth, the sentient experience and your power of discernment. For example, if you live under the false belief that animals are objects or that humans are objects, they can be property. And they are not truthfully property, it's a human idea. So if you consider someone as your property, it's a status assigned mentally. This mental status comes with certain practical implications. And this is indivisible from each other. You do not drink a glass of water with total absence of thought. There is the urge to drink the water. There is a mental activity coming with this. Even the mental activity itself is a brain activity. So the mental and the factual action is indivisible. For example, you cannot visit New York City and then you're at the hot dog stand and you're a little bit hungry. Someone offers you a hot dog, and knowingly that this hot dog is made out of the body parts of other animals, and simultaneously you reject animal exploitation. You cannot eat that hot dog while rejecting animal exploitation, right? Knowing that this involves the body of other animals. You cannot own another sentient individual. You can only forcibly dominate them. Ownership is a categorical error. Animals are not objects, it's a categorical error, they are subjects. So the correction is subject equals subject. There is something like a functional antonym. Think of it like light and darkness. Darkness is just the absence of light. If there is light, there cannot be the shadow. The shadow is just where there is no light. So if you illuminate the whole room from all sides fully, it's completely white. If there is no light at all, it's completely black. These are functional antonyms. Where there is the action and the idea that other animals are here for us to use, the rejection of it cannot be in the same space. One ends the other. So when you admit that humans should live without exploiting animals, truthfully, the same way there is mentality and action that exclude each other. There is the parasitic dependency. For example, a person saying, oh, we need animals as products, blah, blah, blah. And then we use animals. Consciously, we defend it and whatnot. This cannot exist in the perception in the same place as the correction of the error. This is an error. Animals are not objects to use. And this cannot exist at the same time as the correction of the error. So the correction of the error removes the error. We can verbally say, yeah, I'm against animal use, but then we can defend instrumentalization. So we have not corrected the mental error, we have not corrected the false belief. We have not admitted that there is a factual boundary we should not cross. The mental error is the norm of human society. It's the majority view and it's the majority behavior, it's normativity, it's how everything works for most of humanity. And that's the false belief that animals are here for us to be used by humans. The correction of the error is just veganism, that we objectively should not use animals as humans. That's it. That we objectively should end animal exploitation, should live without exploiting animals. That's veganism. One replaces the other. You cannot have the false belief that animals are here for you to be used and the correction at the same time. You cannot live this both at the same time. If you secretly speak for instrumentalization of animals for this or for that reason, it just means that you're dishonest and that you do not see or admit the boundaries there. Veganism is not a diet or a marketing slogan. It is a principle. It means it is rooted in truth. Truth itself transcends language. A stone is a stone, that's how we say it, but the word is not the stone. The actual truth that there is a stone is not the word. The word apple is not the apple. So veganism is a concept that's referring to a truth. In fact, a sane human being does not even need the term veganism. Or humanity that is living in alignment with how they should live does not even need the term veganism. If all of humanity is vegan, we don't need a word for veganism no more. It's a transition, it's a transitory word from a humanity that does not reject animal exploitation to a humanity that does reject animal exploitation. A humanity that does not adhere to the limit based on their capability to see the limit, and a humanity that does adhere to the limit and stops animal exploitation. It's a simple fact that animal exploitation by humanity is wrong. That's all. And even if you do not admit it, it's still a fact. So it requires humanity in some sort of mental process, evaluation, cognition, recognition, however you want to call it. They need to see it. They need to see the fact. You need to see the stone, and then you can say the stone is a stone. If you have never seen a stone, it's just empty talk. The mental and the physical is indivisibly connected, and it's not something complicated. It's just a simple fact that animal exploitation by humanity is wrong. The mentality comes from the vegan principle. The way of living comes from the vegan principle. You correct the categorical error. If someone told you the sky is red, and you have crayons, red crayons, and you have blue crayons, and you never go outside, and you're just living in the basement with a lie, then it's impossible for you to determine that the sky is blue. Only when you go outside and look at the sky, you can see that the sky is blue. But once you have seen that the sky is blue and a person says the sky is red, this false belief has no chance of sticking with you. So, if your relationship to non-human animals is still disturbed, look at the relationship. You see the false as false. And this is just a split second. It's now. Just look at it now. And end animal exploitation. It's not even that someone has to say it to you. If you look at it, you see it, automatically you say, admit, yeah, humans should live without exploiting animals. And that's veganism. So if you are not vegan, you have to take a break. Because this is not, it's not a stupid little white lie. This is a lie that is responsible for the longest-standing atrocity in the history of humanity. And we should have ended it already in the past. We are too late. So now we have to end it now. So take the break now. Look at the animals, basically, until you see the false as false. And then you don't even have to admit it. Because then it is what it is. A vegan humanity already emerges from a small minority of people who see the vegan principle that it's truthful.